Greetings, everybody. I am Patricia Cori. I'm coming to you live from the Azores Islands for a moment of Zen, and my subject today is pain is a messenger. So let me just wait a second here because it takes a second for people to come on and confirm that I'm actually live. And while I do that, I want to always set the stage here. This, especially because I'm posting these little ditties on YouTube. Okay, there you are all. Hello, hello. Thank you. This is a spontaneous, impromptu stream of consciousness. It's me having no one else to feed back other than your messages, which I always manage to get myself off track as I read them. And so it's, you know, there can be mistakes. Give me a break. And understand that it's live and that it comes from the heart. So pain is a messenger is my point. Whoa, look how many people. Thank you all. There's my Jess. Hi, Pedro. All right, let me say hello to everybody first. I've got Jess, Cheryl, Chad, Sonia. Hi, Pedro, Janet. Whew, thank you all. I'm really glad you're here. Lacey Galam. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so here it goes. Now, I want to also say that, you know, I'm not trying to project that I know more than anyone else. And so I know that I'm very probably not telling you anything you don't already know, especially because, as I said before, I'm speaking to an audience of healers and light workers and people that are tuned in and aware. But maybe sharing my experience will add a little something to your understanding, and maybe that could enhance it and give you another perspective. And for that reason, I like to take these moments of my afternoon before I'm completely blitzed on fatigue from all the things I'm doing, and share with you my insights and thoughts. And that is why, by the way, I stumble sometimes because I'm up many nights at 4 in the morning. And last night, hello. It's the solar flares, it's the equinox, it's God knows what. I was wide awake until 4 o'clock and communicating with several of you on internet with the same exact situation. So, hey, so sun that is traversing the 4th dimension and popping back in, give us a chance to catch our breath already. And wouldn't it be nice, of course, if we were allowed to see this, but as Victoria has shared with me, and therefore I've shared with you, Soho seems to be in a state of repair at the moment, and so we can't get pictures of what's going on. So you've got to picture it in your mind, which many of us are very equipped at doing. And for the rest, we're feeling it in our bodies, which leads into my discussion today indirectly about pain being a messenger. Okay, so let's start with the understanding that the body is the human body, all living beings, but ours particularly with all this DNA and all this incredible composition that is Homo sapiens. It's so intricately, perfectly designed by whatever you perceive creator to be. Surely you didn't think that just a flop of atoms decided to coalesce into this form without some design behind it. And whatever you perceive that to be is your business. I avoid, as I've told you, I'm not crazy about God terminology because I'm not crazy about religious constriction. So I refer to creator or universe throughout my dialogues. I do believe there's a prime creator. And when people ask me, what do I think he looks like? Or what do I think he is? And in this world of political correctness, let's get the he out of it and suggest that for me, prime creator is the great mathematician, the great formula maker that puts a unit of this and a unit of this together. Bingo, we've got water, bingo, we've got carbon monoxide, etc. Okay, so the body is so intricately, perfectly designed. We never really stop and think about it. We're too busy being, feeling constrained in our bodies, feeling pain in our bodies, feeling tired, feeling anxious, all of these aspects of being alive, especially now. But let us never forget that we are bioelectromagnetic units of consciousness performing as physical beings. I hope you agree with that, because that's the way I see it. We have Ida and Pingala energy byways that pull in electricity, let's say the electrical stimulation, and bring up the magnetism of the earth. And these, to my amazement, when I was first working as a healer, I was like, oh my God, I don't think a lot of people have thought of this. But if you've got one energy line coming down that's electrical, another that's pulling up magnetism, and these interconnect up the main central tube, or the main energy highway of the body, that would explain chakras. It's like zing, 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 where these energies intersect. And in my experience as a healer, I really was amazed to see that I could see this very clearly. It was some kind of exciting to recognize that, therefore, isn't it very possible that a lot of what's going on in the chakras and the imbalances or balancing the chakras has to do with how we're performing, how we're bringing in those energy sources and how they're interacting. Anyway, that's not the point of my conversation, however. I want to talk specifically about pain. Because, and you've heard me speak about it more than several times, we are a society of anesthetizers, starting with the children and the new syndrome that seems to have just developed in the last decade called ADHD. Wonderful video, probing documentary on Netflix called Take Your Pills. If you haven't seen this, it's a little difficult to watch because it's about the absolute numbing of our youth. But I recommend you read that. No, sorry, you see that before it moves on from Netflix. Take Your Pills. Don't miss that. Okay, so whether you are anesthetizing emotional pain or physical pain, or even the mind, the mental pain, it still is not relieving the pain. It's not releasing the pain. It's numbing the pain. And you're going to deal with it. Whether you, let's say you're on some sort of mood-altering meds to cope with your depression, anxiety, whatever. When you get off the meds, if you ever do, which is a question that surely a lot of people need to ask themselves, because Big Pharma doesn't want you off those pills. So be aware of that. And, you know, I have to leave a few things unsaid so that I can continue to come to you live from the Azores. But you know what I'm implying here. It's like the whole Big Pharma took over the medical industry, and now we've got the across the board pharmaceuticalizing of our health, and now they're taking over the holistic communities so that we can have the alternative tools that we've used for so long and that are intended to keep us healthy. So we're going to really have to talk about how to cope with pain better than we are as a society. And again, I know I'm speaking to the choir because a lot of you are holistic and agree and are practicing as much as you can the alternative methods. But plenty of us, or plenty of you that are listening, also are still either dealing with people or yourselves in a way that has to do with numbing as much as you can pain, whether it's taking an aspirin for a headache or whether it's taking some ghastly mood altering meds for emotional duress. I wanted to talk about how pain works, because we're so terrified of pain now. We're just not going to let it happen for a minute. I mean, don't even think about telling someone you've got a headache, because the instantaneous question is, have you got aspirin? Have you got, what is the other one? Ibuprofen? Have you taken any ibuprofen? And it's like, I got 1 minute warning sign here that I've got a headache. And what I need to do is lie down and be quiet for 10 minutes. But so many times we don't have that chance anymore. And it's just medicate, medicate, medicate. So let's, now, I'm going to stop here because there's just lots of wonderful comments. Good morning, Greenie. Yes, there are a lot of other aspects coming in. What about the food? What about this and that? I'll get to your questions shortly. I just want to follow this thought through because otherwise I get distracted. I would like to remind everyone that pain, it sensors in the structure. We've got pain sensors in our in our auric field, but of course, much more announced, much more pronounced is the network, the neural network, the electromagnetism that is within the physical form, where these pain sensors are deliberately designed to be there. It's written into the design plan of the physical form of whatever you want to consider yourself, Homo sapiens, starseed, whatever, this body you're in has a design plan where pain sensors have been placed in strategic locations to warn you about disharmony, to warn you about disruption in the system. So just like a flashing light on a dashboard of your car says, pull over, there's a problem in the water system, or the oil is overheating, or shows you what I know about cars. How about the water is overheating? There's a problem in the oil system. But that's also built into the machinery so that you are aware that there's a problem. And yet, when our pain system mechanisms start flashing, warning that there's a problem in the biological unit, we are programmed and trained and educated to anesthetize this and therefore numb it. And what this causes is a delay. First of all, it can also cause a worsening of the situation, because the pain is an indicator something's wrong. Sometimes it's a minor temporary pain. Sometimes it's a pain that tells you, hey, there's something here, and you ignore it. The pain subsides, but the problem is still there. So let's always remember that numbing pain doesn't resolve the source of the pain and the cause of the pain. And therefore, until you get to the cause of it, you may be obliterating the most powerful tool you have for auto-diagnosing who you are, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever. So my question for you today is, when did we become so unwilling to bear a little pain? And the answer is, again, when Big Pharma decided to take over the medical industry and tell you how to manage your own body. I invite everyone, I know that who isn't dealing with just enormous stress and fear and anxiety. Let's talk about that. Emotional pain. I mean, these are some interesting times on this planet. We have a lot on our plates, and I don't for a moment reduce that or in any way diminish how important and how real that is. And people say, it's easy for you to say, Patricia, It's like, excuse me, you don't know my pain. Where were you when I was going through my hellacious breakup with my love of my life, Franco, and the tragedies that befall every human being? It's just how we manage the pain and what we do with that pain to propel us forward that really determines how we choose to live our lives. So when there is pain, I don't anesthetize it. I hit it face head on. I want to know the pain. I think I mentioned this before. There was this wonderful Star Trek. Yes, I did. I'm sure I did. This episode of Star Trek, one of the movies, where this guru is trying to take over the ship. I have to repeat this because it's one of my favorite moments in Star Trek. This guru is trying to take over the ship, the Enterprise, and take them to another galaxy where there's no pain. And everybody on the ship is getting completely mesmerized by this man, powerful guru figure who manages to take away their pain in some sort of a meditative exchange, or he puts his hands on them and they go into this rapture and they feel no more pain. And the only one who is left, who has not been manipulated by him, even Spock, as I recall, is, of course, the hero, James T. Kirk, captain of the Starship Enterprise, my hero. So when Doc says, Jim, let him heal you. Let him heal your pain. I have no more pain. He has one of the most important soliloquies in the history of Star Trek. He says, take away my pain? I need my pain. It's taken me to where I am. It is who I am. I need to understand my pain and let it guide me, let it direct me, give me strength to grow. Or in classic William Shatner, oral and terp, I can't do, but it's a classic. And it's true, we do need our pain. It's a warning signal, it's a messenger. Let's always remember that and look to the pain in that way, so that when you get a physical problem like a headache, the immediate instinct is, let me just take something to get rid of this headache. But just think about it. What is the cause of it? Why are you getting these headaches? Are you exhausted? Are you stressed? Let the pain show you the way, unless it's just so unbearable that you do need some help. But, if you get recurring headaches, you need to see eventually what the source of that is and how to get to the source to make it stop. But there's the bigger question, and that is emotional pain. And I saw somewhere on Facebook, I've been more present on Facebook of late, a woman who was sitting in front of the video crying, and she said, I just can't stop crying. What am I going to do? And I felt compassion for her, but on the other hand, it was like, face it, face that pain. Go to the source of it. Find out why. Why are you crying? It is not normal to be always in so much pain and duress and depression. Not that there is a normal that we can count on anymore. But I suppose what I really mean is you're not designed, you're physically not designed to be in constant pain. So hear the pain, and please, please, please do everything you can to get to the source of this emotional pain where you're rageful or crying all the time or so depressed that you have no hope. And before you let anyone mask that away with meds, which is rampant, particularly in the United States and Canada and that culture, but certainly not limited to. This zombie culture is freaking me out. It's freaking me out that the solution to children being unruly in school is to medicate them. And I mean, you would have to come and take me in shackles before I would let you take my kid. I don't have a kid. Before I would let anyone tell me that my kid has to take Prozac. Are you kidding me? Is this the best that society can do? This is unacceptable. People may say, well, it's easy for you to say, Patricia. And it's not easy for me to say. Nothing is easy to say. You put yourself out here, and a lot of people are going to be in disagreement or offended or whatever. So it's not easy to say, but I speak about it from the heart, and I'm trying to, as much as possible, shed some insights that might help people make better decisions. So know that once you start this pain medication, this emotional pain medication, what are the names? Zoloft, Prozac, Adderall. No, Adderall is to hype you up. You're probably, in the odds, you're never going to get off of them. Never. That is something you need to really think about before you take that one pill or that one shot or that one hit. Can't I do better? Let me look at why I'm in so much pain. Surely I can do better than this. And we're blessed with lots of wonderful healers. Many of you are healers who can help you get to the source of it. So there's that. Pain is your messenger. What else did I want to say about that? Mental pain. So I have been speaking about all the info that's out there. I mean, it's a barrage. If you let yourself listen to it, you just want to step off a cliff. And I tend to put out a lot of positive messages, but there's never do I reject or refuse to look at those issues. So somebody once recently said, I'm into love and light. And I said, you're damn straight I am. But I'm also always, and have been always, a conspiracy realist and have brought forward a lot of information for many, many years. But today's information highway, it's just ridiculous. It's too intense. It's nuclear, it's nanoparticles coming out of the chemtrails. It is so disempowering. And this is mental pain. I'd like to propose that even always having to be in positive thought, never, ever being able to think about anything that is disharmonious, is also mental pain. It really is, isn't it? Between these two extremes of these people that are just, I mean, I just ran into someone yesterday who said, yeah, it's really nice what you're putting out there, Patricia, but the reptilians are at the top of the food chain and they're going to eat us all. And it makes me think, if these people really are living with this angst, is it really worth knowing what they think they know? If the infinite, shall I say, finite period of time on Earth is going to be dwelling on the extremely horrible, is it really worth exploring all of that? Then you've got the love and light community, which is, I don't speak of anything negative because I'm always in love and light. And I've always said, what about the other people? I'm glad that if you choose to be in love and light and ignore everything else in the world, that's nice, but what are you doing to help? What are we all doing to help raise the consciousness of others who are in much more duress and suffering? And am I getting off track here? You know, it is the hardest thing to do in the world, to just talk into the video live and hope that you don't completely lose your direction when you have a focus of what you want to bring forward. So anyway, there you go. This was probably what I wanted to say. Please trust your pain. As Captain Cook of the Starship Enterprise so eloquently said, you need your pain. It's who you are. It's gotten you to where you are. Don't numb it. don't erase it. You will face it. Whether you face it when you stop the numbing meds, or whether you face it in another lifetime because you've taken the karma along with you, you will face whatever is the source of that and eventually have to deal with it. So come on, guys. And for those of you who are in a state of balance and peace, help your clients, help other people that you know to face that. Honor the pain, trust it, recognize that it's there, it's designed into the body deliberately. It is a warning signal that something is wrong, and rather than put a Band-Aid on it, let's get to the source. Let's find where the kink is in the engine and fix that. All right, so before I go, I have some messages. Oh, I don't have as many messages as usual. Okay, probably because I'm just talking and not answering any questions. George Guida, hi George. He says, not to mention the industrial waster they dispose of in our, the industrial waste you mean, they dispose of in our food. Jeez, that's another subject for another time. But yeah, it's getting pretty hard to get any pure food. So I am finally stable because for the last, before I moved to this island, I lived actually between the island and Rome because I would spend summer 3 or 4 months here and then live the rest of the time in Rome when I wasn't traveling. So I could never successfully have a holistic garden, not really, and do the kind of work where I could produce a lot of my own food. That's going to happen now. And I think that, well, I joined a group of homesteaders and realized I am not up to snuff on what it takes to produce my own food and get off the grid. But I'm trying. And as much as we all can do, and of course this is off topic, but I'm answering George, the food you're buying in the supermarkets, the processed food, is poison incorporated. I think I told you I was in the grocery store here. They have in plastic containers, they're called shakes, M&M shakes, Snickers shakes, and Mars bar shakes. And it's just like a liquid Snicker bar. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, can you imagine what that's doing to your body? And then yesterday I saw again a video about Dasani, Coca-Cola's water, bottled water, which apparently is not even good enough to put in their Coca-Cola poison. And there are worms in this water. It's just like, yikes. So anything short of another hour of conversation would be diminishing this question. So maybe another time we can have a forum, really a good forum about it where everybody contributes. And I'm always bringing forward that information as much as possible, ideas, water filtration, food. This is where we need to be putting a lot of our energies. So thank you for that comment, George. Greenie McGreenbottom. What kind of name is that? Greenie McGreenbottom writes, this is why I'm not really looking forward to childbirth. Greenie, I can tell by your name and your comment that you've got a wonderful sense of humor. Oh, I would have loved to have gone through the process of childbirth. I wasn't that blessed in this lifetime. Although, I'm glad I'm not contributing to the overpopulation situation. And I have to say that because of my age, I have more and more detachment from being in this planet and less concern about leaving. And don't get all upset. I'm not planning on jumping into the ocean just yet. But if I had children, I'm sure there would be a lot more attachment. And it's a wonderful feeling to be doing that work, feeling that Buddhism rising within me, that it's just detachment from the sensate world is where joy is. Hi, Ella. Can't wait to see you. Won't be long now. All right, let's see. Are there any more comments? Sharon, thank you. My smile seems to be a big question on Facebook. To be told that I smile too much just cracked me up, of course, made me smile more. But imagine your worst criticism. If your worst criticism of the day is that you smile too much, I guess you're doing a good job. All right, let's see. How many minutes have I been? Oh, 30 minutes? You got to be kidding me. How time flies when I'm rambling away. I hope I've shed a little light on the subject, and I hope that you will remember that. Remember, your pain sensor is like a flickering light on your dashboard. Let it, allow it, trust it, and as much as possible, get rid of the meds, man. Feel it. Allow yourself to feel some pain. And if you are in that kind of emotional duress where you're in despair and hopelessness, that's a whole nother question. And ain't no med gonna fix that. I got news for you. Get yourself to a really wonderful healer. The world is full of us now. We are doing all the kinds of work that can help people get in touch with the source of that pain. I'm looking at the list of people that are contacting me. Sherry Demetrius is one of those people, wonderful healer. And I can't even name all the people here who are healers, but surely, if you can't find anyone and you're in really a bad state, send me an email. I'll put the call out. And saying that, I do want to thank all of you over and over again. I've called upon you now 6 or 7 times at least to help bring healing to some people who are in really bad shape out there. And you've always been there. And I'm convinced that it helps. And so are these people who are receiving all that love. So thank you always for what you do, whether it's in your private world or whether it's over the wires. It all matters. Okay, before I go, I'm going to just read all the messages now. Wonderful thoughts. Fig Alley says, society shames pain rather than honors its sacred nature. I'll drink to that. But it also glorifies pain because it sells. Do I sound like a cynic? Big Pharma is in control of this planet. And we need to rebel against that. Okay, I think I've done my bit for the moment. This will also go up on YouTube. And thank you all for signing up on YouTube. I know there's a lot of controversy about YouTube and just censorship. And I have mixed feelings about using these tools. Then again, if we simply refuse to use them because we're afraid of censorship, they've already won, right? That just does not make sense with me at all. So my message is, be clever. There are ways to say things without saying them so that they don't get picked up in some computer maniacal artificial intelligence screening machine. And I will not be silenced. Not going to happen. So thank you for always being there and listening and sharing. And I'll be back to you soon with another moment of Zen. This is Patricia Cori from the Azores, signing out. Please feel my love around you.